Hey, so we're back. I took the day off work. It's July 18th, and I've been really watching the weather. We were up here last weekend, and I couldn't really do anything. I didn't have any wood for my cabin on the pond to do the ceiling, and all the food plots were too wet. Well, it's Wednesday now, and they've dried out. I took the day off. One of my buddies who I partner up with with one of our contractors, he's taking the guys and wiring a house, and I'll work this weekend. But it's supposed to rain tomorrow and Friday, so I want to get these food plots ready. They're not going to be perfect, but it's not going to matter. I've already disked this one. This is my pear plot south of my cabin, and I've already disked the rock plot where there's just tons of rocks in there. So those are fairly level. That back one, I mean the rock plot is, it still needs a lot of work. There's still a lot of rocks, but I got to plant this right now because if I plant all these today, or as far as I can get anyway, it'll rain Thursday and Friday. I'm going to broadcast the seed, so you want it to rain afterward to get good seed to soil contact and get that seed about a 1/4 inch in the dirt. But anyway, I'm going to take my drag harrow and use my use old Julie here, the old Ford 8N, and drag this with that and prepare it for some seed. And then I'm going to go to that rock plot and try to level that out and a little bit better and break up the clumps. So stay with us. So, real quick for those of you who don't know, I put these food plots in this winter. I had a bulldozer come in and bulldoze 5 new food plots. So this was all woods, at the beginning of winter. And then he came back in, I believe it was May, and then kind of finished them off a bit, graded them a little bit better, but it was really wet beforehand, so he couldn't do a good job. But so these food plots are pretty rough, but every year they'll get better, and I just don't have time to make them perfect this year. So, but we're gonna seed it with this one right here is going to get winter peas and forage oats. The rock food plot will get Antler King Game Changer, which is it's got some clovers and I believe some canola, which is a type of brassica. So dragging this helps break up the clumps. It also levels the ground a bit, fills in the low spots, and rips up a little bit of the roots too.
Ask my baby, give me some. She said, wait, Mara, come on, massa holla, massa, shake 'em on down. Massa holla, don't quit, shake 'em on down.
I think I'm happy with this. Usually I take the teeth and I put it flat again and then drag it again, but I think I'm gonna leave it like this, a little bit rougher this time. So when the rain comes, it'll have more soil to kind of fall down on top of it, because after I drag it with the teeth on this drag harrow flat, it kind of gets almost too compacted, I think. So this is what we're looking at. And there's a bunch of rocks and roots from the trees and whatnot. I don't think the seed and deer are gonna mind any, so. So I'm pretty excited about all these food plots. Hopefully they come up. This is the first time where I was actually able to plant it exactly when I wanted to, because it looks like it's for sure gonna rain the next 2 days. And it's not gonna be like a torrential downpour. At least that's what I'm hoping, that's what they say. So it'll be a nice soaking rain, and this stuff hopefully will germinate and everything good. But I did lime all these food plots in as soon as I could. It was like early April. There was still snow on the ground and stuff. So it's been, what, 4 months? April, May, June, July. So maybe they'll have started to raise the pH a bit. But I have planted food plots last year. I didn't have all these 5, but I had a couple along my pond. I planted one on the north side and the south side of my pond, and then I planted my trail in clover. The trail came in a little bit, but what really came in was Antler King honey hole. That's the best one that I've used so far, and boy, it was amazing how many more deer I saw on the land because of it was a little over a 1/4 acre food plot, and during the fall and early winter, the tracks in the wintertime were more than 4 times what they were the year before when we first bought the land. And the amount of deer I saw after I put the food plots in during deer season was, I would say, 3 to 4 times as many as I saw the previous year without any food plots. And that's 1/4 acre food plot. Now we're in big woods and whatnot, so I think that's what makes the difference. So if I plant all these food plots and I'm trying different types of seed and foods for the deer, it should make a huge difference where I particularly hunt, because there's no crops within probably 4 miles. So anyway, we'll go to the rock food plot and start there now. All right, so now we're in the rock food plot. I'm calling it that because I'll show you how many rocks are in here. This is only an 1/8 acre large plot, and I think this is going to be, I'm going to say this is going to be my best one. I just have a feeling. I have the road is directly behind me, probably about 300 yards. I have a bedding area to my left, which is west, about 150 yards from this food plot. That last one we were just in is toward the north, about 300 yards from this one. I call that the pear plot. I'm gonna plant some pear trees. Didn't get to it this year because I couldn't find any. And then from that food plot, another 150 yards is my cabin. So I'm picturing the deer coming from the bedding and the neighboring land. And then I have a swamp here, Tamarack Black Spruce Swamp. I think they're gonna come around this corner, hit this food plot, and then go to the next one toward nightfall. And I think they're gonna hit this one during the daytime. And I'm hopefully gonna draw deer from across the road and from the public land to the west. So I'm gonna put my bet on I'm gonna get a buck in this food plot. The other cool thing is my driveway is just 30 yards from it, so I can come down my driveway very quietly and get into the tree stand, which I'm going to set up right behind me in a large oak tree, and then hunt this with a north wind, blowing it toward the road, which is, like I say, 250, 300 yards behind me. And we'll see what happens. But anyway, we'll get started on this one. This is how many rocks I've pulled out of this little quarter-acre food plot. I still got a wet spot here in the middle, but we're still gonna throw down some seed. But just amazing how many rocks came out of this little chunk of dirt. And then that heads off, and my driveway is 35 yards that way. And the bedding is directly over there, 150 yards.
And don't quit, shake 'em on down. And my baby give me some. She said, wait.
All right, so that's what we got. It was pretty rough. A lot of bouncing around. I had a lot of areas where I've been popping some big rocks and ruts and whatnot, especially this trail. The good part is it'll never be this bad again. It's gonna get better every time I come through here with the tractor, so. But it's a good day, it's nice. 80 degrees, it's not too hot, the bugs aren't too bad. I'm not at work doing electrical. Nobody's with me or calling me. So, little time on the tractor. Hopefully I get all these planted. I was only planning on doing 2, but it's going really good. I already have the south end of the land done, these 2 plots. So I can spread the seed. And I'm gonna eat lunch, gas up the tractors, and then use the Kubota and start disking one more time on the other 2 food plots, and then I'll drag those, and then I'll probably put seed down everywhere, and if I have time I'll do the largest food plot way in the back. So stay with us. All right, so this one's been disked quite a few times. This is right off my chalet stand, my 8x8 elevated box stand. It's my apple plot. I got 4 apple trees still living here. And I'm just gonna go over it one time, and then we'll head over to the other plot that has a shooting lane off of that elevated box stand. Hit that one, and then if that doesn't take too long, I'm gonna go in the back while I have the tractor, the Kubota still back here, and disc up my largest back food plot and see how wet that one is. But we'll get started.
Slowly turns his head, takes a drink from his whiskey bottle, and this is what he said. I was born in the rain on the Poncha train, underneath the Louisiana moon. Don't mind the strain of a hurricane, they come around every June. High black water, devil's daughter, she's hot, she's cold, and she's mean. But nobody taught her it takes a lot of water to wash away New Orleans. I was born in the rain on a Poncha train, underneath the Louisiana moon. I don't mind the strain of a hurricane, they come around every June. The high black water, the devil's daughter, she's hot, she's cold, and she's mean. But no the Pontchartrain, underneath the Louisiana moon. I don't mind the strain of a hurricane, they come around every June. The high black water, a devil's daughter, she's hot, she's cold, and she's mean. But nobody taught her it takes a lot of water to wash away New Orleans.
Well, I'm gonna call that good on this one. I think I was on here for about a half an hour. This is about a quarter of an acre food plot. There's a ton of rocks on here, but I'm just gonna leave them for this year and pick them up next year. But I changed the harrow from the teeth down, and then made them flat. On this one, it seemed to need it to break it up a bit, but I think it's ready to plant. So we have one more food plot to go, small one, and this one's gonna get planted in forage oats and peas. All right, so we're ready to plant this one. This is my apple plot. It's about a quarter acre in size, and I'm gonna plant it in lights out forage oats. It's a fall hunting plot mix, and it has oats, rape, which is a brassica, and purple top turnips, which is another brassica. So what I'm going to do is pour this whole thing inside the spreader, and then just crack it open enough where the seed starts pouring out, and then I'm just going to keep on walking around until it's gone. That way I get an even amount throughout the whole food plot. Instead of trying to like calibrate it, I'm just going to go where the seed is coming out a little bit, and then go through the whole thing. Guess it's time to pick up some rocks. All right, a couple more passes with the teeth down, and then I'll put them straight, and we should be good to go. I'm gonna plant this in Game Changer, which is a clover, and it's got canola in it, which is another type of brassica. So next year, after this comes up, it'll have a little brassica in it for a fall hunting situation. Brassica is gets the sugars in the leaves after a good frost, so that'll be good. And then next year, that doesn't grow back. It's not a perennial, so the clover will come back. So I won't have to hopefully replant this food plot. In the rock plot, I'm going to split this bag because both of these are about 1/8 of an acre. So I'm going to split that bag up and put the other half in the rock plot. So I have 2 smaller food plots, one on the north side of the land, and then one south of the south side of the land, south of our cabin. So the deer have, you know, those deer have the same options as the deer on the north half of the land. So, all right, we'll get started. One thing I wanted to mention when I was doing this and disking and dragging the food plots, if you do figure eights, or you do like you go left and right and then up and down, or north and south and then east and west, it seems to work better and level everything out a lot better instead of doing circles and progressively getting smaller into the food plot. It seemed to get pretty wavy, so then I would go the opposite way, and it really did a good job of leveling it out. All right, we got everything planted. I went back on the forage oats plot and the winter peas one, and I dragged them both with the harrow, with the teeth up, flat, just to, the seed was a little bigger, so I figured that it would be a good idea to drag over it again and get it under the dirt a little bit more. The other seed, the clover seed, is really tiny, so when it rains tomorrow and the next day, hopefully, I don't think there's going to be a problem. I've planted clover before, and there's never been a problem. I did plant some winter rye grain this last spring, and it didn't grow that great, and I never went over it and dragged it again, so I'm thinking that might be the reason. But anyway, hopefully it rains in the next couple days and this stuff will grow. Watch for the video in a few weeks. I'll do a video and take a look at those plots and see how they're doing. And I'm going to show right here how my plot on the south side of the pond is doing with buckwheat. That grew up real slow, and I didn't think it was buckwheat at first, but I gave it a few weeks and now it's grown pretty decent. So, and I haven't checked it after this last week. So it rained a couple more times last week, so hopefully it's even doing better. Yeah, it's coming up pretty decent, so I think what I'm going to do is set a trail cam right here on this tree. To overlook the field, but I'll show that clip here. But if you like these videos and if you enjoy them, just if you could press like and subscribe, that would be great. And leave a comment. Maybe you have some better insight on dragging those plots with the oats and stuff. So, and peas. But have a good one.